The April 22nd, 2013 meeting of the Agenda Charter Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Cayley? Here. Mr. McCann?
Here.
Mr. Patterson?
Here.
Chairman Quattro?
Here.
Mr. Rocco?
Here.
Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
There is not.
Is there anyone present who is not signed up to speak but would like to address the committee at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. The next item on the agenda, as I said, is approval of the minutes. You have the March 25th, 2013 minutes before you. They'll stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. New business. Casey?
All right, referral 13-136.
Move it. Second.
I believe, before we discuss this, is a correction, Jerry? Is that for 0136?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The referral-specific legislative action unfortunately has a typo in it. It lists the address of Mr. Judson as 150 Oakshire Way, and it should be 154. If you'll note, the attached resume does have the correct address, which is 154. I would respectfully ask that perhaps the mover of this and the seconder could agree that it's moved as I've outlined here at the correct address.
It was moved by Mr. McCann and was seconded by Mr. Rocco. Mr. McCann?
Yeah, I'd be happy to offer that as an amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Rocco seconds that. Is there any questions about that? It's pretty straightforward. Okay, all those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? On to the main motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Item passes. Casey?
Referral 13-137.
Moved by Mr. Rocco, seconded by Mr. McCann. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Referral passes. Casey?
Referral 13-138.
Moved by Mr. McCann, seconded by Mr. Rocco. Is there any discussion? Yes, Legislator Cayley.
Thank you. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak, but at this time I would move to sever the nominations of legislators Tucciarello and Lightfoot in one vote and Mr. Stewart and Perrone in a separate vote.
There's a motion on the floor to sever as described.
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion about the motion, Mr. Rocco?
Could you explain what's the process?
Through the chair, Legislator Cayley, could you explain, please, why you would like to sever this?
Yes, I could, through you. My explanation is simply that if we have issues or feel that one or more of the appointees might or might not be an appropriate choice, or there might be other choices out there, I would move to sever.
Mr. Rocco, is that a sufficient explanation for you?
It may be a sufficient explanation. Is it common practice? I just not.
Your question is through the chair.
To the chair, to the administration, is this a common practice?
I've never seen it happen before. Is there any other questions about the motion to sever? Hearing none, all those in favor of severing the motion signify by saying roll call vote.
Ms. Cayley?
Yes.
Mr. McCann?
No.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Chairman Quattro?
No.
Mr. Rocco?
No.
2-3 fails.
The amendment to sever fails. Again, to the main motion, or is there any questions? Legislator Cayley?
Not a question, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to explain my vote. I will not be voting in the positive for these appointments. It's unfortunate that we cannot sever these, as I feel that even though we haven't in the past, that it is possible to do so and still proceed. I have no issues with the reappointments of the legislators. They have been doing good service to the county on this authority. But I would ask that, no, I would say that it's concerning to me that we are not appointing or looking, or perhaps we have, for new individuals to serve on these authorities. And I feel that that needs to be taken into consideration. At present, Mr. Stewart does have controversy around his appointments, and
I don't think that that's appropriate. I'm not.
okay, then can I finish?
Yeah,
May
you
I
can
finish?
You
All
may
right.
finish.
I find that in the list of appointments, there are one or two that do not complete the process the way that I would judge was in the best interest of the county. But I would also say that going forward, I would urge the administration to begin to reach out and seek new members for these authorities. That I feel that many members in this body will be cycling out within the next 4 years. And it's important for us to add new members to these authorities so that they gain experience, the same as legislators when they're coming on gain experience. And I would urge that the administration do this in the future. Thank you.
Duly noted. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
3-2 passes.
Thank you very much. On to the next item of business, Casey.
Referral 13-139.
Moved by legislator Rocco, seconded by legislator McCann. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those who are in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Casey?
Referral 13-140.
Moved by legislator McCann, seconded by legislator Rocco. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Patterson.
Just a few questions for the administration, nothing too complicated. Through the chair, why does Monroe County currently own these properties?
Through the chair, some of these properties were acquired through tax foreclosure many years ago. Others of them, they were acquired through a land swap with the Village of Webster, who also owns property in this area. So when that happened, they each exchanged parcels so that they had contiguous parcels and would make them more advantageous in the event that they wanted to sell them.
Thank you. Through the chair, the town and the Village of Webster, do they consider these buildable lots as they're currently sized?
Through the chair, they would be under the town's jurisdiction, and I believe from the appraisal that we had done and their conversation with the town, they do not consider them buildable lots.
Okay, thank you. Through the chair, why aren't these properties being offered at auction?
Through the chair, these properties have been offered to other adjoiners previously with no takers, and we always offer properties such as this to adjoining owners before they go out, for a public bid.
Okay, thank you. And so I believe you may well have answered my next question, but through the chair, does the gentleman at hand who's looking to purchase the property, is he a joiner? Does he own property adjacent to this property?
Through the chair, yes, he does.
Okay, thank you. And through the chair, why do we need a local law to sell this property?
Again, through the chair, because we're not going through the auction process and because they're not tax foreclosed property, they're not all totally tax foreclosed properties, so it requires a local law. Because the ones that are not, you have to deem surplus.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding this item? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. So any unfinished business to come before the committee? Legislator Kaley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would respectfully ask to lift referral from the table 130138.
Is your second for your motion?
I'll second that motion.
Point of information,
Legislator Rocco?
I believe last month this was tabled because Legislator Wilcox, the maker, was not present.
Mhm.
He's not here today.
Mhm.
Mr. Chairman, is this something that, are you aware of any other instances where the maker has not been present and is not commenting before this committee?
I can recall of no other time where that's happened. I know that I received a communication from Mr. Wilcox saying that there were other members that were present. And I also indicated last month that I would like to hear from the maker of the motion particularly considering that this is such a enormous undertaking. Anyway, the motion is not debatable. All those in favor of lifting this item from the table indicate by, well, let's have a roll call vote.
Ms. Cayley? Yes. Mr. McCann?
No.
Mr. Patterson? Yes. Chairman Quattro?
No.
Mr. Rocco? No. 2-3 fails.
Is there any other unfinished business? Hearing none, the April 22nd meeting of the Agenda Charter Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting will be May 20th, 2013 at 6 p.m.